Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be reviewing my first round game from the 5th Cleveland Go Club rating tournament. This tournament was held on April 27th by the Cleveland Go Club, as the name suggests, and was a lot of fun. I will make a note here so that there's no confusion in the titles of my reviews, is that as the TD, because for the Cleveland Go Club rating tournament, I'm the TD there, so I have to do the brackets and do all that. And we had an odd number of players for this event, and so what that means is people needed to take a bye, or someone needed to take a bye, and so I didn't want anybody from out of town who drove hours to be there to get a bye, and so as well as the level of competition here, there were a few strong Dawn players, but my closest opponent I had to give 3 stones to, and so I decided, okay, since there isn't as many strong players, I'll give myself the bye. So I technically only played 3 games, and this is technically round 2 officially of the tournament, but for simplicity's sake, so that if you ever want to go back to this tournament and look at the game reviews and you're trying to find where's round 1, I'm just going to call in the title this my first round game, as opposed to putting second round game and then you trying to find, whoa, where's my first round game? So technically this is the second round of the tournament, but this is the first round that I played in. So that's the clarification I want to make. But yeah, my first round opponent, Bohi, is 1 Dawn, and this is the first time they've ever been to this tournament, so it was nice meeting them, and I was very excited to play them. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the game. And we get pretty standard opening, and whenever I'm playing somebody new, I always try to get a feel for how they play. And that, not that you wanted to affect how you play, like change your game plan, but strategy-wise, as we'll see here, even here, black takes the corner, does the double hane. This is very common. And then even here, I'm trying to probe, okay, how are you going to play? And so we can see they took the corner in the lower left, and they've played the knight's move, extension, back off, however you want to play it, or however you want to call it, in response to my approaches. And so I'm really getting this feeling that black, and this isn't a bad thing, especially in a handicap game, but black's a very territorial player. Black does not want to fight. Otherwise black could pinch the right side, pincer here, kick and pincer. Like black could play that way. But because I'm getting this feeling that, okay, black really doesn't want to fight, I'm going to try to play, again, this isn't a bad thing, overly aggressive to kind of coerce black into a fight. The key is over-aggressive does not mean overplaying, by the way. That is a key thing here. So, for example, I play the shoulder hit. Why I played this specific shoulder hit, because there are 3 different options, mainly has to do with the right side, to build the right side. But beyond that, you probably could have picked any of them, to be honest. Maybe not N4 because you're already solid here. But yeah, I played here. Black stands up. And so you can see I'm trying to make black have to fight with this shoulder hit. And then black plays in my area. And this is what I want. And again, not saying this is bad for black to play at all, but this is what white is looking for. And white's next move should not come to a surprise to anyone, but I just connect up. And now black plays here. And so this is black's first questionable move of the game. And let me explain why. So there's a lot of ways black could have played here. Like black could even play some move like this to split white or attach. Or again, there's a lot of moves you can play on the right side. But in general, when you're invading, you want to give yourself 3 ways to settle your group. And settle means to start to make eyes or start to make your group safe. And so, for example, let's say black had played here. This is a very common move. If when black plays here, we can see that black has space to extend here towards the bottom, extend towards the top, or jump out. So when you're invading, you want to give yourself 3 ways to help/settle your group. And so what this means is, if white takes one of these, you still have the other 2 to consider. And that's why having 3 options is great, because even if your opponent takes one of them, you can still decide between 2. And usually one of them is better, and therefore you can take the better option. So yes, and especially in this case, when you are deciding between 2 extensions and jumping to the center, usually just extending along the side is better. But sometimes jumping out is better. Sometimes jumping out is better. And maybe even in this case, it could be. But yeah, black has 3 ways to play. Now let's say, for example, black had played, I'm not sure, let's say here, right? And then let's say white jumps. If we take that same principle, black can extend or jump out. So now black has 2 ways to go. And so let's say black even plays elsewhere. Say black plays like this. Now black still has 2 ways to go. That means, okay, I can, let's see, I can jump out. Oops. Or if white takes one, that means I can jump out. And if white takes the other one, I can extend. So black is left with 2 ways to go. What you don't want, so that's playable. That's playable. When you're invading and you have 3 ways to go, that is perfect. You could pretty much, that's pretty much means invading is on the table. If you have 2 ways to go, you definitely want to consider it, because now in this case, you have to take the other option when your opponent takes one of the options. And so you have to make sure both options are okay if you can get them. Now what you don't want is a position where you have to take one option. And I mentioned this because, so one, in the game, black plays here, I jump, and I was expecting black to pincer. And this would be a different game. But black played into the corner. And if we look, if we count black's options right here, black can extend, as I showed here, or black can still jump out. You can't really extend comfortably along the top because white's stones are right there. So black really only has 2 options, but notice black didn't take one of them. And so what that means is now white can take one that is better, or try to take the better one. And in this case, there is very much an invasion, or one of these spots here, that's better for black. And that would, of course, be, as I showed, black extending here. It not only weakens the R6 stone, but also makes a base for the black stones. But in the game, white was able to take that away, and now black is forced to run into the center. And now black doesn't really have a base, and yeah, now white can use this. It's not really a wall yet, but just these stones here. There's not really thickness yet, I mean, because there's so many weaknesses or holes in white's shape here. Obviously, you can't really cut this, but yeah, white can now use this to white's advantage. So if black plans to play here at R16, I would play here as black. Why? Because notice, when white jumps and black descends, let's again count black's options. Black can still extend along the side, that hasn't changed. Black can jump out still, but there's now once again another 3rd option, which is connecting to black's corner. So it's a little strange, because it's a little counterintuitive, because you would think by playing closer to white's stones there, that would be bad, right? Black stones locally are outnumbered 4 stones to 1 stone. But because it creates this second line connection, it actually makes this black stone here at R12 stronger. And so now black has 3 ways to connect. So again, what does that mean? That means, okay, if white prevents one of them, you can pick between the 2 better options. If white plays down, okay, we can extend. So now white can't take both. And again, even if you can prevent one, This move isn't fully sente, but even if you can prevent one, you still have 2 to go. You still have 2 options to pick, I mean. So, yeah, I would actually prefer if black had pincered here, especially if black plans to want to take the corner. So, yeah. So, basically, when you're, especially in this kind of position, because this comes up a lot, obviously, since we have just 2 normal approaches, knight's move approaches, it's not just let's just place a stone down and go on from there. You really need to think about what are my options once my opponent does X, Y, and Z. So, yeah. So I pincer, and now black needs to run. Now, the thing with this, though, is because this is black's only option, we really have to ask ourselves, okay, how much can I really gain from this, saving this stone, right? Because we're running out into the center. How much can I really gain with this? Because, for example, let's say black treated this stone lightly, right? Let's say black played a move like this. Not saying this is good, but just for example's sake. And white says, okay, I want to capture this stone. Well, then you can have it, white, but if you just really reduce white down, white can't Atari, by the way, because Atari through here, so white has to connect. We can see this right side's not actually that imposing, is it? If you look at the rest of the board, that's all white really has. So it's a question of, do we really need to save the stone? So yeah, I would consider even here as black just to leave it, because I can play S14 anytime to reduce the right side. Because remember, in a handicap game, this is also what white wants. See, I cap. Now that you've added a second stone, now you really have to save it. Black attaches, and of course, when your opponent attaches to you, what's the normal response? You attach them back. Yeah, this basically just, before I decide what I do in response to black stone at P9, I'm going to ask black first on the bottom, because there are a lot of options here that I could play. I could pull back, I could hane. Some cases I can hane this way. Clamp sometimes even. It's crazy, but sometimes it is possible. So before I decide what I want to do, I ask black first on the bottom. Black blocks. And here, yeah, this is, you very rarely ever want to just play R3. You really want to even poke here first and then hane. Even if you end up playing R3, you really want to not let white get this Atari. This is generally considered too painful. Yeah, because if you imagine white attached first and then did this, it's like you connected here, which is already slow, and then when white hanes, you connect it again, which is even slower. So yeah, you definitely want to at least break the shape first. And even if white goes into the corner, in this kind of position, white still has pushes and cuts to worry about at R5, and also, and this is a concept that's less talked about, but is definitely true. And if you're a weaker player, if you can keep this in mind, you can improve a lot. Is the strength of stones is relative to nearby enemy stones. And so if we go back a few moves, it's very clear here that the white stones are stronger than the black stones, right? And what that means is if black tries to counterattack, let's say with something like this, the white stones are going to be stronger than the black stones here. Yeah. And black's going to have some problems, basically. But if we get into that variation I just showed, not that one, this one, now that black is strong all of a sudden, that means white is now weaker. White is very weak. So if I do something else, then black could start attacking me on the top. Because now black doesn't need to worry about getting counterattacked with this one space jump on the right side. Black can just go all out attack on these white stones. So even though a few moves ago white was the one attacking, the board has changed, and now black could counterattack. So that's why I don't see white playing for the corner. White would just connect, I think. Again, this is actually making it harder for black to ignore, just because we are directly taking away a liberty on these 2 stones, which is quite painful. I think black could still play this way, It would just mean white gets this cut here, and black shape's a little worse. It's slightly worse. Yeah, even if you can take the stone, white's going to use that the squeeze here to then go back to attacking the right side. Is the idea. So yeah, but whatever black does, black should not play this one directly, because now you can see I've made it ever so harder for black to connect the right side group with the lower right group, which was the main goal for white. So then I descend. The point of the descent is if I just Hane, this is going to give black good shape. Like I'm forcing black to take good shape. And even black still has clamp at R9, which is good shape. Even just playing at Q10 gives black a perfect eye. So I just descend. Whereas now I'm still threatening black shape because I'm threatening to play moves like P9. And I'm also I've created a underneath connection to my 5 stones here, just in case. Just in case. Remember, options are good. Options are good. So black plays there. We'll see black shape gets destroyed in a second. So I would just recommend playing here or just extending or just attaching directly like so. The black jumps and then I play the knight's moves and black plays C17. And if you're seeing other videos from the Cleveland Go Club rating tournament, since I play a lot of handicap games there, you'll know that I like to play this knight's move and then leave it. It's a Joseki. I don't even know if it's technically a Joseki either, but it's basically a sequence. If black ends up pincering, I like to play D15. I like the result it gives, basically, as white. So that's why I played and then leave it. But for now, I Hane. And yeah, black could cut, and we get this kind of squeeze. Yeah, we get this kind of squeeze. But obviously, the thing is, black could even, before play this kind of like peeping move. Peep, and then cut. And now black has fully protected black's shape there. But this is still okay for white. It is annoying now that there's M12, so white would probably add a stone. Maybe something like this. This is still okay for white, though. Okay for both sides, I should say. Black just blocks, though, and I get the Satari. So you can see black shape is very ugly now. I play down again because, okay, black's weak, but black is technically a little bit stronger now. So I want to help my group here a little bit. Black extends. Again, shoulder hit, because I can tell black really likes territory, especially after the lower right sequence as well. And then extend along the side. And yeah, here black does something very, very interesting. I'll call it mature, I guess. Because again, I really am trying to get black to play in my area. I'm trying to get black to please invade my space there. But black's smart. Black is smart. That is what white wants. So, especially when you have a weak group on the right side, it makes no sense to do that. And plus, even though I've made this move at L17, there is still Aji of pushing and cutting. Not immediately, probably. I mean, you might be able to, but basically this Aji will always exist. And we can see if black ends up getting some thickness here, then this push and cut here at O15 could put the top in a lot of danger. So yeah, so extend, push, and then cut. Yes. And so here, again, because of the direct effect that getting stones here has against this cut here, I really think black should just Atari and then go for this. I just think it's that big. And we could see if we just play a very simple variation. These stones, but especially F12, really hurts white's group up top. And remember, this isn't just white or black attacking white up top, but this is also black attacking the right side. And you might think, well, can't white treat some of these stones lightly? Yes, but even still, even if you treat some of these stones lightly, I can't find a good move to fix my shape. Yeah. And this is where light shape is good when your opponent doesn't have a lot of stones nearby. But now that black has the J17 stone, these stones here are now stronger, more solid. Yeah, white has some problems. But when black jumps here, I immediately take E12. Because not only is this black's absolute sente, it also reduces my left side, and when I get this move, if black tries to push and cut now, we can just see how having this stone, just having the stone be a white stone compared to a black stone, look how much of a difference it makes. I'm now connecting back to my fellow white stones. Whereas if it's like this, I would be trying to connect back, but see, this stone here is now a black stone. It's just a lot harder now. So yeah, no, it has great effect on this building the center, but also helping the weakness here. So black does a nice move, and then I descend here. Yeah, this is again, black's moves here aren't working well together. And what I mean by that is this move is not only connecting black up slightly. Again, it's a two space jump and a large knights in the center, so it's not fully connected, but it's starting to connect. But what else is it doing? It is also surrounding white's lower right. And so when I stand up here, black should really consider putting pressure on this white group, because now I'm sealed in. Now I'm sealed in. Whether I fight this ko like this, black leaves it like this, or I have to connect along the second line, this is a great exchange for black. This is a great exchange for black. So that's why in the game... Oh yeah, and black also actually makes this exchange in the game. But I don't like this unless you're going to use it. Because in some cases, you want to peep this way and then use the peep to separate this large knights. But you would only do this if you're going to push and cut. So I don't like black pushing and then leaving it. Because again, maybe later you want to play from this direction. But yeah, so that's why I descend. Because black surrounded me, and also, remember what I said earlier, the strength of stones is relative to nearby enemy stones. Now that I'm perfectly alive on the right side, because you have a two-space connection in the center and a large knight's connection in the center, these two groups could, you're not saying they will, but they could have some problems later. So black plays here. So this is a very good sequence. If you want to know how to handle this kind of shape, because I know a lot of players would see this knight's move and say, okay, you have to help your group somehow. And not saying this move is bad by any means. If I had played this would be a perfectly fine move. But if you could know how to handle it, you'll find that this move ends up being gote. And you might be thinking, how's that gote, right? Well, let's look at it. So crawl, and here's the key move. If you simply just connect here, black can go elsewhere. But the key move is to jump across like this. This is the key move. So for example, if black is trying to kill you, black has to play here. But we can see that if you try this, especially with the weaknesses in the corner, this is not going to end well for black. It's just not going to work. So okay, what if black separates you? Well, now you will play G3, and now you've created potential cuts in black's shape. Now you might be thinking, okay, but if I play here now, and let's say black goes elsewhere, and then I play here, isn't it the same thing? I'll be able to cut here? Well, no, because this move is now not sente. And this is something I bring up in a lot of my videos, and if you can master this, it's hard to master, but if you can master this, you can get a lot stronger. Before you do something, and again, that's something, I'm leaving it nebulous because it can change depending on each game. But let's say before you capture stones, before you save your group, before you connect, again, it can change. So in this case, before I play here, I'm going to ask black if black really wants me to live, or really wants me to play at G3, I should say. So before I live, I play here. Before I live, I play here. Because I only need to play G3 if I'm completely surrounded. But if I'm able to, let's say black does still go elsewhere and I connect, this is much better than here into here, right? The stone at G3 is only necessary if I'm not connected out. So this is asking, okay, black, are you going to let me connect out? So black's going to say, no, I don't want you to. Well, now you play here. And so now you're forced black to play f4 when maybe they didn't want to. So again, it's a hard concept to grasp and master, but if you can just start thinking about, okay, before I live, before I connect, before I capture, whatever it may be, before I finish kind of this board state, can I get any extra, whatever it may be, extra points, extra moves? Can I get a little bit extra? Then that's a big point in efficiency too. Is if I just go here, this is inefficient. But if I go here first, it's a little more efficient because now I've forced black to play this exchange. So it is a tough thing to kind of master. But if you can start thinking about it, that plants the seeds. That plants the seeds. So black does connect. So even though I lived with just 3 points, technically a capture, so 4 points, it took black 1 move, 2 moves, and so I was able to ignore 2 of black's moves. And another important point, when you're crawling on the second line, you want to crawl until them blocking is not sente. So let's say I did this, right? And even I do the same thing like this, right? And then I go elsewhere. If J2 is sente, which it is, to live, this would be too painful. So keep pushing until you living or them blocking is not sente. So now if black plays K2, it's not sente. So when you're crawling on the second line, that's kind of the general rule of thumb. But yeah, I play here, and then black cuts. And this was so perplexing to me, because one eye is not alive yet, but 2, I can't really even cut off the stone at Q11. Like, if black just does something else, and I try to push through here, black can simply just, like, peep here, and then even, like, peep this way. And so even if black descends next, like I didn't really gain much from this. So yeah, this was very slow. Very slow. So peep and then attach. Because again, you can see black shape here is pretty ugly. It only has 1 eye, so black has to be careful. So I attach. So the idea is if black tries to be too aggressive, maybe I have ways to separate black. Maybe. So black just extends, and then I attach up top. So now you can start to see white's starting to get a little something there in the center. Little something. And then black bumps and then plays here. So this was very wrong by black. Because if we change the order, usually you just wedge here. And then where does white play? White plays at K16. And now black can go elsewhere. But black would never bump here. Black would never bump here. Like, yes, technically it threatens L18, but right here, right now, I don't think black would bump here. And so, yeah, playing here, the only reason to play there is if you were going to Hane. So, yeah, otherwise black should just wedge. When I go here, black can reduce my center. Because with black bumping here and then wedging, I'm able to surround. And this is at least here, this is a perfect connection. Or sealant, I should say. As long as I plan on giving up some stones, there's no problems here for white. So then black comes in. And this is actually, I talked with Bone again. He's a very nice gentleman who said he would come out to other events we had. So I'd be excited to play them again. But this was kind of the crux of the game that we thought. Like, even though it felt like it was going well for white, obviously it's handicap, and black still has a slight lead. And so the question is, how deep should you go in, right? And so we were talking about, like, okay, what if you just, especially in this kind of position, like, how do you pick where to play, right? Obviously, we have a sector line here between C8 and L9, but how do you decide where to play here? So we were basically talking like, okay, what if you did 1 line closer as opposed to 1 line further? And basically he played 1 line further because if you play here, sealing in becomes too easy for white. Whereas here, now sealing in is a lot more difficult. But as we see, this is a little further away. And so in the game, I play here, black answers, and then jump. And so now black has to worry about the right side again. But this move is not just looking at the right side, it is, of course, looking to separate the center stone. So I think black just needs to bite the bullet here and just maybe just like shoulder hit here. And yes, this is painful, right? But you're going to be alive still. And yeah, as long as you connect here, like you've reduced white center. So I think black treating this as sente was black's first problem. Because when I play here, I'm threatening to surround, of course, but also there's some connection problems here. Because again, black played a 2-space jump in the center. Black blocks and then jump. So when black tries to connect, I can cut. And yeah, again, this is very, very complicated, but basically, even though there's like peeps here and other moves black can play, everything should be okay for white. As you can see, there's not really a ladder here. So black can play like this and gets this kind of squeeze, but white will keep most of the center. White will keep most of the center. So it's painful, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Yeah. So in the game, black plays actually a very nice move and plays here. And this is a very nice move because, and I'll show you in a second, because whenever you have something locally that does not work, you don't want to just like Atari from behind or just kind of play directly on it. You want to play away from it. Remember early on when black attached to my Q9 stone with P9? And instead of responding locally, I attached at P4. It's the same kind of idea. Before I decide what I do here, I'm going to see how you play here. So before black decides what to do in the center, I'm going to ask first on the left side. Now in response to this, I simply just descend and say, my center is huge. And even though you get this descent, this is threatening to connect under, and I can still reduce your left side when I attach here, right? And this is how the result finishes, which I was pretty happy with. If, let's say, for example, I had responded, well, again, now the board has changed. And so black can stand up. This is threatening this kind of peep here, so I have to answer somehow. And now black has, let's see, black has some sort of, because of this turn here, we have, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to give these stones an extra liberty, so let's do that. And then we can play like this. And this is very cool. Black has this kind of netting move here, where you can't push and capture this way. You get captured. So if you push through like this, you get this kind of squeeze, and then push down. And the difference between this compared to which variation? This one is I'm still connected back. This stone at C8 is still connected, right? So I still keep the left side. But in this position, you can see black's going to start to cut off the left side. And so even if I descend, even this move is sente, because now this is an Atari at E13. So white has to fill or play some move. And so, okay, I sealed off the center, but now black cleanly takes the entire left side and has sente now. Probably play something like L18 next. So this kind of thing would be pretty painful for white, actually. Even though I get the center I wanted, and also I added an extra stone at C9 as well. So yeah, pretty painful, pretty painful. And there's other things white needs to worry about, like this kind of move too. Yeah, so just lots of problems. Maybe even black can cut and create like this kind of double Atari scenario like this. So it's just a lot of problems. So I didn't read all that in the game. I just knew what black was looking for, and so I actually spent very little time and just extended here. And I think I forgot to mention, but the time settings for this game, for this tournament, were 30-minute main time with 3 30-second overtimes. And as usual, my opponent probably at this point was getting low on time, and I still had like 15 minutes or so. Now, to my credit, I was playing slower, so that was something I was doing a lot better. But yeah, I just extended here and just said, let's simplify it. I'll take my whole center still, like in that other variation, but now the left side isn't fully sealed off. So play like that, yep. And then black pushes here, but I was like, you're not fully connected here, are you? So I'm going to descend and jump here. Again, this is very difficult for black. Very, very difficult for black. When black turns here, I descend, which threatens to connect these 3 stones. Yeah, so black captures them, but then I'm able to surround the left side. So after white went here, I did not see a good move for black. Yeah, like you can play this, but you're still going to lose. Well, you play that one, Hane. Yeah, it's going to be similar to the 3 stones are going to be in a lot of danger, basically. Yeah, because you still need to connect that way, but then the 3 stones, and yeah, it's just very problematic for black. Yes, I think directly playing here would be better, right? Playing the key move. But yeah, black had problems there, and so black played here. I descended and then was able to surround the left side. So after that, black realizes, okay, now that I've lost the left side, I have to do something in the center. But with all my stones in the center, we'll just see that there's very little hope for black to make something work here. Plus, black is even lower on time, so they have to play within the 30 seconds, which was also contributing to black's kind of not necessarily bad moves, but just trying to make something work. Because it's their only way to win, so I totally understand it. But yeah, as I go through the end game here, the game's finished, but like what happens still left in the game. Like there's still something exciting that happens in the game. But as we go through, I'll just give my thoughts. I think black played very well this game, actually. I think partly, of course, time pressure, but also leaving a lot of weaknesses, especially with these jumps here. And we'll even see right here, yeah, I can separate now. So even all the way at the end, black paid for playing the 2-space extension in the center, 2-space jump in the center. And so I think some of black's shapes were a little awkward. And so I think black paid for those later down the line. So black tries to connect, tries to live, and then, yeah, black resigned here. So yeah, very strong player. But I was very happy with my play as well. Feeling good, especially after taking the first round bye. I wasn't sure how I would play because I didn't play any warm-up games or anything. This is my first game of the day, but I clearly played pretty well. So yeah, pretty happy with the result. So ended my first round, again, technically second round of the event, but my first round with a win. But yeah, if you have any questions about the game, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you all in the next video.